Look around you right now. Your phone, the laptop in front of you, the cars in the street, the new buildings rising behind them. Strip away white, strip away black, strip away every shade of gray in between. How many colors are actually left? Probably fewer than you expected. This isn't nostalgia. It isn't a trick of memory. The world is genuinely losing its color, and researchers have been tracking it for decades. Open an old photo album. Watch a commercial from the 1960s or the 1970s. It feels like stepping onto another planet. Mint green refrigerators standing proudly in kitchens, turquoise appliances, cherry red cars, electric orange station wagons, living rooms where every piece of furniture seemed determined to have its own personality. Nothing matched, and somehow everything felt alive. What you're seeing is not simply a change in taste. You're seeing evidence of a global shift that has quietly transformed the visual world around us. To understand how dramatic that shift has been, we need numbers. The Science Museum in London used artificial intelligence to analyze more than 7,000 everyday objects spanning from the year 1800 to today. Kitchen tools, cameras, toys, medical equipment. Thousands of objects, every one of them photographed and analyzed by color. The results were startling. In the 19th century and early 20th century, color diversity was everywhere. Black and gray together accounted for only about 15% of the objects people used. But decade after decade, that number climbed, quietly, steadily, relentlessly, until it surpassed 60% in recent years. It's as if color slowly retreated from the stage. Red stepped back. Yellow faded. Orange disappeared into the wings. The colors that once dominated everyday life survived mostly in photographs, advertisements, and memory. Think about the last time you walked into an appliance store. Black refrigerator, white refrigerator, gray refrigerator. That's most of the selection. But not long ago, you could find green beside blue, beside red. Every appliance seemed to give a household its own identity. So what happened? The first answer lies in globalization. When a company sells products locally, it can cater to local tastes. But when a corporation sells the same product in New York, Cairo, Mumbai, London, and São Paulo simultaneously, color becomes a risk. A color loved by one group may be rejected by another. Red, yellow, purple. Every color carries different emotional and cultural associations. But neutral colors rarely offend anyone. And that's exactly the point. Companies didn't choose gray because they loved gray. They chose gray because they feared rejection. A red product might lose customers. A yellow product might divide opinion. A purple product might fail completely. Gray is safe. White is safe. Black is safe. They are the colors nobody hates, but they're also the colors nobody remembers. Then Apple arrived and accelerated the trend. When the company released products wrapped in white plastic and brushed aluminum, they looked like artifacts from the future. The aesthetic felt clean, precise, intelligent. The success was enormous. And soon companies in completely unrelated industries began copying the same formula. Phones became black, laptops became silver, coffee machines became white, game consoles became monochrome. Technology became synonymous with neutrality. Color suddenly looked childish. Minimalism became sophistication. But marketing is only part of the story. The deeper reason lies in the materials themselves. For most of human history, we surrounded ourselves with natural materials: wood, copper, leather, stone. Every piece carried subtle differences in texture, tone, and color. No two were exactly alike. Then, industrialization replaced those materials with plastic, glass, and stainless steel. Cheaper, faster, more efficient. Perfect for mass production, but far less diverse in appearance. And so the same smooth, neutral surfaces spread across the planet. You can see the effect most clearly on the road. Look at traffic today. An endless river of black, white, gray, and silver. Around 80% of cars manufactured worldwide now belong to these neutral shades. Entire highways have become moving grayscale photographs. But decades ago, things looked very different. In the 1950s and 1960s, car manufacturers competed through color. A single model might be available in 15 or 20 different shades. You could recognize a friend's car from the end of the street. Today, many people locate their own car in a parking lot by pressing the key fob and waiting for the lights to flash. The economics are simple. A bright green car carries risk. A bright orange car carries risk, but a gray car can always be resold. A white car can always be resold. A black car can always be resold. And reducing color options saves manufacturers millions in production costs. The same pattern appears in fashion. Street photography from the 1970s looks almost surreal today. Bold trousers, bright jackets, loud shirts. People dress to be seen. Now look around. Blue jeans, black jeans, gray hoodie, white shirt. The modern wardrobe revolves around a concept known as the capsule wardrobe. Fewer items, fewer decisions, fewer colors. And for global fashion brands, that simplicity is incredibly profitable. Neutral colors sell everywhere, which means neutral colors get produced everywhere. Then architecture completes the transformation. In the early 20th century, influential architects began rejecting ornamentation and decoration. White walls, concrete surfaces, glass facades, clean lines, minimal visual noise. The philosophy spread across the world. Today, offices, apartment towers, shopping centers, and hotels often look strangely interchangeable. Walk into a modern apartment, white walls, gray sofa, light flooring. Everything is organized, everything is polished. Everything looks like everything else. Older homes told different stories. Floral wallpaper, patterned carpets, bright upholstery, rooms filled with personal choices instead of universal templates. A house felt connected to the people who lived inside it. Today, many homes feel connected to the same furniture catalog. And that's why old photographs trigger such powerful nostalgia. Not because they were perfect, but because they were distinctive. The result is something bigger than changing fashion. Local visual identity is disappearing. An apartment photo today could be from London, Paris, Toronto, Dubai, or Cairo, and many people would struggle to tell the difference. The same colors, the same furniture, the same aesthetic, the same visual language. But there is one place where the story changes: East Asia, parts of China, Japan, South Korea. Here, color still fights back. Neon signs flood entire streets. Storefronts compete through visual intensity. Markets explode with color. Neighborhoods develop their own distinct visual identities. For many visitors, arriving there feels like stepping from a black and white movie into full color. The reasons are cultural as much as economic. In dense cities packed with millions of people, attention is valuable. Color becomes a tool, a signal, a way to stand out, a way to be remembered. And here lies the great irony. Pick up the gray phone in your pocket, flip over the gray laptop on your desk. Somewhere on the back, in tiny print, it says exactly where this grayness came from: made in China, made in Korea. The very factories manufacturing the world's grayness sit inside some of the most colorful streets on the planet. Asia exports the gray and quietly keeps the color for itself. But something interesting has started happening. Designers are beginning to push back. Bright colors are returning. Patterns are returning. Personality is returning. Homes are becoming less like showrooms and more like reflections of the people living inside them. It's as if the human eye has finally reached its limit, as if it's quietly saying, enough. Because color is not decoration. Color is memory. Color is identity. Color is emotion. It's how we remember places, how we remember people, how we remember entire periods of our lives. Gray is practical. Gray is efficient. Gray is safe. But gray rarely stays in memory. And years from now, when you look back on your own life, do you want to remember it as a sequence of gray tones, or as a canvas full of colors worth remembering? Because if the colors around us silently reflect the way we think and the way we choose to live, what exactly do the colors of your world say about you?